In business, you're always facing these tough choices, right? The kinds of decisions that can make or break a huge project, a really critical partnership. Well, today, we're going to dive into one of the most fundamental choices a leader has to make. And I got to tell you, the answer might actually surprise you. So let's just picture this. You absolutely have to pick a strategic partner. Who do you go with? The seasoned pro who has an incredible track record, but let's just say a shaky reputation? Or do you take a gamble on the new kid on the block, someone with a sterling character, but literally no experience in your specific area? And look, this isn't just some business school thought experiment. This is a real-world decision that companies face all the time, with millions, and I mean millions of dollars on the line. To make this really concrete, let's invent two companies. We'll call them Company A and Company B. So, Company A, they're our proven expert. They have a long, documented history of delivering stuff just like you need, on time, and cheap. Sounds great, right? But, and there's always a but, their leadership has been accused of some unethical stuff, and you've heard whispers that they aren't always, let's say, 100% truthful with their partners. Okay, then you've got Company B. Their leadership? Famous for being honest and totally transparent. Their character is rock solid. The catch? Well, they've never actually made a product like yours. And frankly, their track record in other areas has been a little spotty. So, who do you pick? Okay, so that's our starting point. Section 1, a partnership dilemma. This is that high-stakes choice we're talking about, the one with huge financial consequences. Now, if you're anything like me, your gut is probably screaming, go with Company A, go with the expert, skills matter, right? We are just naturally drawn to things we can see and measure, like a history of success. But what if that gut instinct is just flat out wrong? What if our bias towards competence is actually a multi-million-dollar mistake hiding in plain sight? So let's get into Section 2, 2 flavors of trust. Because to solve this puzzle, we have to realize that trust isn't just one simple thing. First up, you've got competence-based trust. And it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's that feeling, that expectation, that your partner has the skills, the experience, the sheer ability to get the job done. It's the belief that they can do the work. This is Company A all day long. And then you have the other side of the coin, integrity-based trust. And this is a completely different animal. This is all about your belief in a partner's motives, their honesty, their fundamental character. It's the belief that they'll do the right thing, even when it's hard, even when no one's looking. And that is a perfect description of Company B, our honest newcomer. All right, so Section 3, the hidden costs of partnership. Why does the split even matter? Well, it all comes down to all those annoying, expensive little things that pop up in any business deal. Economists call them transaction costs. And just like trust, these costs come in 2 flavors. First, you've got the upfront costs. This is all the time and money you burn before a single piece of work gets done. Negotiating contracts for weeks, drafting these 100-page agreements, setting up all the safeguards. Then you've got the ongoing costs. These are the headaches that happen after everything is signed. Constantly having to check up on your partner, fighting over every little change, and dealing with disputes. It's really important to keep these 2 separate, because as we're about to see, they behave in really, really different ways. Okay, we've laid out all the pieces of the puzzle. 2 kinds of trust, 2 kinds of cost. So now for the main event. Let's look at what a massive amount of research found when it put competence and integrity head to head. And I'm not talking about some small one-off study here. Researchers did what's called a meta-analysis. They pulled together 30 years of findings from 150 different studies covering a mind-boggling 37,366 business partnerships. I mean, this is about as solid as evidence gets. So, what did this mountain of data actually tell us? Okay, let's start with those ongoing day-to-day costs. Trusting your partner's competence? Yeah, it helps. You can see it has a small positive effect. But look at integrity-based trust. Wow, it's not even close. It's not even a fair fight. The impact is just absolutely massive. How massive? Let's just put a number on it. 10 times integrity-based trust is about 10 times more effective at cutting down those ongoing management and monitoring costs than just trusting their skills. Think about that. Trusting your partner's character makes the day-to-day work 10 times smoother and cheaper. So, okay. For the long haul, integrity is king. Got it. But what about just getting the deal started? What about those upfront costs, like negotiating the contract? You'd think that more trust of any kind would make that part easier and cheaper, right? Well, This is where the story takes a really interesting twist. And this is maybe the wildest finding of the whole thing. Just like you'd guess, high-integrity trust, it's linked to lower upfront costs. Makes sense, right? Negotiations are simpler. But look at competence-based trust. It is associated with higher upfront costs. I'm not kidding. The more you trust your partner's technical skills, the more time and money you end up spending to craft a super detailed, complex contract. So what on earth is going on here? This brings us right to the why behind these totally counterintuitive results. And the answer is basically rooted in psychology. It's about this weird imbalance in how our brains handle different kinds of failure. So let's start with a competence failure. Imagine your partner does a great job on two things, but then they totally mess up the third one. You know what we do? We tend to discount that failure. We think, they're still competent, they just had a bad day. We see it as an exception, not the rule. We believe a skilled person can have both good days and bad days. But our brains process an integrity failure in a completely different way. If a partner is honest twice, but then lies to you just once, our whole perception of them just shatters. We don't see them as an honest person who had a dishonest moment. Nope. That single lie is seen as revealing who they really are. It poisons everything that came before it. We think an honest person is just incapable of being dishonest, so a single lie proves they were never really honest in the first place. The researchers actually cite a paper that puts this so powerfully. Embezzling from a company once makes us an embezzler, even if we do not engage in additional thefts. One violation, and that's it. It's like a permanent diagnosis of your character. And that's why integrity is so powerful. A failure of competence feels temporary. A failure of integrity feels permanent. And that's why we're willing to spend so much less time and money watching over a partner we believe truly has integrity. So, Section 6, your trust ROI. Because this isn't just theory, right? This has a real, tangible impact on the bottom line. Let's actually look at the return on investment for choosing character. So let's translate this into real money. Let's say you've got a hypothetical $100 million contract on the table. High competence trust, that saves you about $170,000 a year in those hidden costs. That's pretty good. But high integrity trust, that saves you $1.72 million every single year. That's the 10x factor in cold, hard cash. And that's why this choice is a multi-million-dollar decision. So let's circle all the way back to our original choice. The verdict is in. When we put Company A, the skilled but shady expert, up against Company B, the honest but inexperienced newcomer, the data is just crystal clear. The long-term financial benefits you get from Company B's integrity just completely dwarf the benefits of Company A's competence. At the end of the day, this research really pushes back against a powerful, powerful business instinct. We are told over and over to look for the best skills, the most impressive resume, the proven track record. But what this huge body of evidence suggests is that it's the quieter, more foundational quality of integrity. That's where the real sustainable value is found. So the question I want to leave you with is this. The next time you have to choose a partner, what are you going to prioritize?